What are the top options for muscle gain and exercise performance to date? Because things are always changing. And last year, what it was, at least according to Examine, the top options were creatine, nitrates, protein, and carbohydrates. Right? And it was really those top four, and we had other supplements as secondary options. They were all the top options. This has changed. We have a few that moved up, a few that moved down. What do we got? Top 9 as of 2024 in terms of proven evidence in human clinical trials and repeated outcomes and results. We have beta-alanine, creatine, caffeine, and of course protein and carbohydrates. Those are the top 5. Okay? Those are the top 5. Again, creatine, caffeine, beta-alanine, protein, and carbs. Top 5 for muscle gain and exercise performance. So those are our primary options. Our secondary options, which are also fantastic, we have another 4. We have citrulline, most often taken in the form of citrulline malate, citrulline bound to malic acid. We have nitrates, we have BCAAs, and sodium bicarbonate. So let's talk about a couple of them because, we'll tell you why they're good, at least in short, and why some of them made the cut that weren't on there, and maybe why some got knocked down. So creatine, we all know creatine. It's an osmolyte. It supports the influx of water into cells. It hydrates cells as it's an osmolyte, improving their functioning, whether it's cells in your brain or cells in your muscles or in your body in general, right? It promotes the production of new muscle cells, myonuclei, that become myotubes, and in their most immature state are satellite cells, if you've heard of those, but promotes the production of new muscle cells, and they differentiate into more muscle cells, right? So it helps muscle growth in that regard. It increases insulin-like growth factor 1, and that promotes the influx of amino acids or the building blocks of proteins into muscle, right? Among other things, and has hormonal effects, and it's associated with growth hormone release as well, right? Helping to further support growth. It also inhibits something called myostatin. Myostatin is a muscle cell proliferation inhibitor. So myostatin stops these cells from dividing and proliferating. In other words, just getting more of them, right? And so if we stop that, at least block it to a degree, then it seems like it would be beneficial for muscle growth. Now, probably its hallmark trait is its ability to donate a phosphate group to ADP in the phosphagen pathway to make more ATP, adenosine triphosphate. That's the major stored form of energy in the human body. So it gives us more energy to have better workouts as well. Creatine, that one probably, that's really the king of all of your ingredients here, aside from protein and carbohydrates, which are obviously very important for muscle growth, okay? Beta-alanine reduces acidity in the muscles. We devoted really a day to beta-alanine when we talked about a good pre-workout ingredient for nighttime workouts the other day because it has a short half-life of anywhere from 25 minutes to an hour, so it shouldn't keep you awake too late at night. If you are working out, say after work, for example, it makes for a great option. Its big thing is it reduces acidity in the muscles, right? Intracellularly, meaning inside the cell. The reason I say that is because sodium bicarbonate does the same thing, but outside the cell. We'll talk about that in a second. And it contributes to the formation of a powerful anti-aging antioxidant compound, carnosine. Okay, and carnosine is formed when beta-alanine combines with the amino acid histidine. Beta-alanine is the rate-limiting step in carnosine formation, and so beta-alanine supplementation is the best way to boost carnosine levels. You also find beta-alanine in foods like meat and fish, as you do creatine. Meat and fish, they're great, huh? So let's see. We said protein, carbohydrates. You guys know about that. Caffeine, right? We know that caffeine improves focus and alertness, attention, even memory, especially if it's combined with something like L-theanine, which helps to relax you, promotes wakeful relaxation, and puts you in a good mood, releasing serotonin and dopamine while you have that stimulatory effect. And also, theanine releases GABA, gamma-aminobutyric acid. It's an inhibitory neurotransmitter or brain chemical that can help to relax you. Alongside the caffeine, they make for a great combo. Theanine isn't necessarily on this list because we're not talking about cognition. But in regards to physical performance, well, caffeine gives you more energy. It boosts epinephrine levels, right? Adrenaline. And so if we have more adrenaline, we're going to burn more fat, we're going to have more energy and be able to do more things. So it's no surprise that caffeine would be, top the table on this list as it has been forever since we've known caffeine, right? So what else do we got? Secondary options, we have citrulline. Citrulline malate is the form we mentioned before. And citrulline malate is the amino acid citrulline, a non-essential amino acid, meaning our bodies can produce it, bound to malic acid, usually at a 2-to-1 ratio, citrulline to malic acid, also known as malate. Right? Ic acid and alate are the synonymous terms for things. So citrulline is involved in a few different cycles, right? One is to promote nitric oxide production, and nitric oxide opens our blood vessels and improves blood flow to the entire body. And that seems like it would be a good thing for physical performance and muscle growth, especially if we're delivering nutrition to the muscles. Beethoven, stop. She won't stop whining. Maybe she wants some citrulline malate so she can get all pumped up to whoop JMO's ass. She does that all the time. That's my other dog, JMO. Anyway, so citrulline is in that cycle, right? It goes citrulline, converted to arginine, converted to nitric oxide. Arginine, by the way, is an inadvisable supplement in terms of boosting exercise performance. Did you know that? So it's near the bottom in terms of what people think are actually good. So I thought that was worth mentioning. You break down a lot of that arginine before it's going to be converted into nitric oxide. It doesn't really promote as much nitric oxide, not really. It doesn't promote the production of nitric oxide to a nearly significant degree as does citrulline supplementation. Okay, so citrulline's in that nitric oxide pathway. It's also in the urea cycle, right? So it promotes the conversion of ammonia into urea, and that helps our body to eliminate waste in the form of urea, right? To get rid of that ammonia. So that is a good thing, and that's one of the mechanisms they think, or by affecting gene regulation or energy production from malic acid, that citrulline malate will improve exercise performance, right? Can also boost growth hormone. Fantastic supplement, I think, at least, in my personal testing. I've had it in isolation, and you really do feel citrulline malate. I think it's great. 8 to 10 grams improves exercise performance. That's the common recommended dosage. It used to be 6 to 8 grams, right, as of like last year, but they changed that. So aside from citrulline, in our secondary options, we have BCAAs, right? So BCAAs, branched chain amino acids, simple one. Leucine, isoleucine, and valine are the 3 amino acids that are involved in muscle protein synthesis or building muscle. They're not saying the only ones, but they're the major ones. And especially leucine. You always remember we love leucine. That's what we say here at When Wellness. And you can find these in high amounts in especially animal meat, right? And so if we're taking amino acids that promote muscle growth directly, well, obviously they're going to be on this list, right? Leucine, isoleucine, and valine should be taken in a 2 to 1-to-1 ratio, respectively. Right? You want twice as much leucine. That's why we say we love leucine. Okay. Some people even recommend a 3 to 1-to-1 ratio. I say go anywhere from 2 to 3 to 1, but I typically take about 2 to 1 because the others are important as well. Okay. So we have nitrates on this list. Nitrates are converted into nitrites. Nitrites can become nitric oxide. It's another pathway we can reach nitric oxide, right? And the formation of nitric oxide, again, will open up these blood vessels, deliver more oxygen and nutrition to our muscles to help them grow and to help them perform better during high intensity or endurance exercise, right? So nitrates are great. It's hard to find nitrates in a supplement. Why? Well, because there's strict regulations on sodium nitrates, right? Those are different. They're processed, if you heard of those, with sodium. And so, it takes away all the beneficial effect of the nitrates. They're actually, harmful to your health, right? So we don't want those. But regular nitrates you'll find in beets and leafy greens, things of that nature. So, nitrates themselves are definitely good. Sodium bicarbonate is the last one here. And you guys are like, wait a minute, baking soda is good for exercise performance and muscle growth? Well, hear me out. You shouldn't be dousing, tons of baking soda into your mouth to try to improve your exercise performance and promote muscle growth, right? But it does one really important thing, okay? One, sodium is an electrolyte, okay? So, sodium, potassium, calcium, magnesium, phosphorus, chloride, these are all electrolytes, right? So these are things that help to replenish our bodies, help to replenish our energy, our muscles, our physical functioning, and they're necessary for proper physiological functioning at some level, right? And so I'm sure you know that if you've taken electrolyte tablets or, science courses based on health of some regard. But the bicarbonate portion, why that? Well, it's an acid buffer, right? So it reduces acidity outside of the cell. We have beta-alanine reducing acidity inside the cell, and then we have sodium bicarbonate reducing acidity outside the cell. So if it can buffer, we produce more acid hydrogen ions when we work out and they build up in the blood, and if we could reduce them, it could improve our exercise performance and our recovery. And so that's what makes it, have a spot on this list. Other forms of sodium are good too. So let's talk too here about what's in Super U out of these, if we're on the topic. Well, it's funny because out of these top supplements, we had creatine. We'll skip protein and carbs, right? Because we all know protein and carbs. The top ones were beta-alanine, creatine, and caffeine. All three are in Super U. And that was before they upgraded beta-alanine to a primary supplement. That was based on our own testing. We found that that was extremely effective for enhancing physical performance. Also good for cognitive performance, especially in stressful states, right? When you're sleep deprived or something like that. Under heat stress, cold stress, beta-alanine, interesting. Creatine is good for cognition too. It gives you more energy to think, right? So we don't just think of physical functioning with creatine either. Right? But caffeine's in there too in Super U. Dicaffeine malate. Caffeine bound to malic acid. Malic acid is also involved in an energy production cycle, so that's a real powerhouse. We combine it with L-theanine so it doesn't have an overstimulatory effect. Right? And it's a sustained, smooth, long-lasting release of energy because the caffeine salts are buffered by the malic acid. And that will slow their release throughout the entire day. Maybe instead of hitting you all at once, it'll hit you, say, 10, 20 milligrams at a time, giving you smooth energy. That means you're also going to be in fat burning mode for quite some time with epinephrine release throughout the day. But also the release of dopamine and serotonin so you're happy, and GABA so you're relaxed. Right? Out of the secondary options, right, nitrates you can't really find in supplements. Okay? Sodium bicarbonate, well, we have Himalayan pink salt. We do have a form of sodium in there to support electrolyte balance, right, and replenishment. And Himalayan pink salt is superior to standard table salt because it also has trace minerals in it, molybdenum and strontium and things that you've never even heard of, potassium and magnesium and calcium, trace amounts of them. It doesn't have all too much. Has this been crooked the whole time? But, but that's in there as well, right? So you can't forget about that. Citrulline. We have citrulline malate in there, and that was before it was even on this list. So, and what does that say? It's not all about super. Why don't we have BCAAs, by the way? Well, because you would need, I think BCAAs should be their own supplement. Often you find a BCAA supplement that has a bunch of other stuff with it, but, the recommendation is 91 milligrams per pound at a minimum to, optimize your body composition for lean muscle mass. And so, at a 200-pound person, 225 pounds or so, oh, this feels good on my back. A little stretch. You're probably having 20 grams minimum, right? So what? You're going to put that, and that's in a day again, and that's the minimum they recommend having. We're going to put that all in a supplement. The powder's already, 14, 19 to 19 grams? The scooper would be like, it'd just be ridiculous. So, and we wouldn't put an insufficient dosage, Definitely no less, I probably would not put than, 7 or 10 grams in a dose, right? I'd probably do 10, but we'll see in the future with One Wellness what we create. We're going to make all sorts of supplements. Protein powders, BCAAs, anti-anxiety, all sorts of things. We started with Super U, right? Well-rounded, improving focus, attention, memory, mood, motivation, reducing inflammation in the gut, good for brain health, supports brain cell communication, arousal, a lot of things it's good for, right? Fat burning, muscle growth. But citrulline malate we have in there as well, and we have it at 8 grams. 8 to 10 grams improves exercise performance. But we also have something called estrogen, astragalus combined with panax-notoginseng, that improves the absorption of a lot of the other ingredients, about all of them, vitamins and minerals and amino acids. And it does so to citrulline by a whopping 45%. That's really like an effect of 11.6 grams you're feeling. So, you feel it and you feel good. All right. But those are the top supplements for improving exercise performance, for promoting muscle growth naturally, according to examine.com, which is the best source, unbiased research. They do meta-analyses involving thousands, tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of people. They're very strict on how they grade supplements, and these are the absolute top that you can buy. So before wasting your money and going and buying all this other stuff, there you go. We saved you some time and money, hopefully. Happy When Wellness. Let's see what we got on here. Say hi to the people. You can take some soup here if you just want a lot of them. Hit me up, I'll give you a discount code. How about that? We're gonna take it over here. It was in my shoe because I lost my tripod somewhere else. I didn't lose it to the practice. Stefan Fire, what's up? Angie, Adrian, Ronald, Encounter. Yeah, that's right, Moss. Great. Denise. Zach, what's up, man? Love you, Zach. You're the man. Gotta see little Tula. Green since 93. Been your favorite color, or are you a Jeff fan or something? Ty Kemp. Trace Jeffrey. Bodybuilding strength muscle. Thank you for coming in. Supporting When Wellness. Not by coincidence. Hope you guys got something out of this. I be Levid. Cool Adriana Jones. George, what's up? Abdulio, we still got Christmas decorations because we love Christmas, all right? So we're going to, let this last as long as it can and enjoy it. I don't want to hear it, all right? What's up? Andreas P. Ken Rondo, what's up, Meg? How you doing? Dastrin67, first one of the day. Dave Astrin, my man. What up, young stud? Good to see you on here. I hope you got something out of this one. It's a good one, you're taking some good stuff already.